Hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. We're here at the Healing Body, Mind, and Soul show, brought to you by Body, Mind, Soul TV and Media Network. And I'm your host, Ariel Asher. Today, I have the honor and the privilege to be with Jayne Ellegard, and I'm so excited to lean in and talk to her about how to empower yourself so that you're not stuck like a deer in the headlights after something traumatic in your financial area of life. We all know what it's like to be kicked hard in the first chakra after surviving 2020, and Jayne's going to help us lay a great foundation so that none of us feel caught without a plan. I'm just making it up off the cuff as I usually do, Jayne. But thank you so much for taking some time to lean in today and for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here on the Healing Body, Mind, and Soul show today.
Well, thank you, Ariel. I'm delighted to be here.
So, can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you do to empower women specifically in their financial area?
I would love to. So, I spent 34 years working in wealth management, in advisory type of roles. And I saw when women were really engaged in the conversation, it was so much easier for them when something did happen, a significant life event like a divorce or the death of a spouse or a career
Yeah.
transition. But I also saw women who were not engaged and involved in that conversation. And when something would happen, it was tremendously scary and overwhelming. And so 2.5 years ago, I left my corporate job to really just focus on financial education for women. So I don't actually do any advisory services. I'm not trying to sell anything, any products or manage your money or anything like that. I really want to provide women with a very safe space to learn those basic concepts that most of us were never taught. There was no class in high school. You didn't miss anything because there wasn't anything.
It wasn't offered. That wasn't
It
on the
wasn't
agenda.
offered, unfortunately, because this is just such a core piece of life that, for whatever reason, didn't get taught in the school systems, and still oftentimes isn't being taught. And so I really felt that I had the experience and the knowledge, and I just really wanted to be able to make an impact with women.
That's awesome. I love that. So, who are your clients? I love what you're up to. So, what is the perfect client for you? Like, who are you serving these days?
Well,
Is
my
it those women
marketing,
in transition?
it's a
Women,
lot of women in transition. My marketing team hates when I say it's for all women.
I
Because
know.
I think it is for many women. I think it's for women who, again, did not receive that education, have not gravitated towards, having an interest in this part of their lives. And yet we need to understand it. And so, but I think women in transition in particular, or I love when I get the opportunity to help women before that
Yeah,
significant life
actually,
event
that
takes
was what I
place.
was asking behind the question is like I would like to empower people even younger, right?
Yeah.
So and really have them be able to speak the language because I feel very well, I wasn't interested, to be really honest with you,
Yep.
in that area, not at all. And there have been times when it's been slammed on me, and I had to take a hard look at things, you know. And I have some other friends that are that I've met throughout the years that are working in that area. I just love your educational stance. So when I was asking the question, I was really thinking in the back of my mind, like, what is the age demographic that we're talking here? Because, like, let's get people prepared. Let's get girls prepared,
Yes.
right? Um,
Yeah. So in my courses, I've had women ages 25 to 75 go through my
mm,
class. But I also launched a book here in April, and I've had a lot of people say to me that they've purchased the book to give as college graduation gifts, wedding gifts, baby shower gifts. Because all of those are transitions that take place where learning about our finances can really have a significant impact. And the earlier and the younger that we understand how to utilize, a lot of the tools that are at our fingertips, that's just going to make a huge difference for our financial future.
mm, sing it, sister. I was raised by a single mother, right? And she just had to do a crash course in leader of household,
Yeah.
right? She and so
Yeah.
she had to just. So I imagine all single mothers need to do this, and to have your expert guidance not only in the day-to-day financials, but planning for their future so that that they can really provide more for their children and for their and their lineage, their family. This is awesome stuff that you're up to. Now, what really is the driving passion here? You really just all of a sudden one day woke up and you were good at it. So tell us. I want to know a little bit more about that. You were kind of good at it, so you just decided, what the heck? I don't know. That doesn't sound. I think there's more to the story than that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story of what drives your passion around this.
Well, I loved what I was doing. I really did. I had a wonderful career, and I was so incredibly blessed with being able to work with amazing clients who, I created trust and built relationships and helped them achieve their financial goals. And that was fantastic. But I started realizing that I wanted to have more flexibility in my own life, and the corporate world isn't always flexible, and I was in a leadership role, and so I was
Mm,
expected to be there and be present. And I wanted to eventually, when my son is now married, and I thought at some point they're going to have children, and I want to be a part-time nanny when that happens, because I only have one child, so I'm not going to have a lot of opportunities at grandchildren. And so a big part of it was wanting that flexibility, but I started taking some coaching classes, and I
mm,
became a certified career coach. And then I went through the Neuro Leadership Institute and became a brain-based or results-based coach, all based on neuroscience. And I really just wanted to somehow bring together that knowledge that I had, that I light up and get excited about talking about finances that most people don't. And so I was like, how can I combine that brain science and coaching and that experience and somehow help other women come to see this as a more welcoming and inviting topic than they have in the past? Because, I think part of it, Ariel, is this has been the financial industry has been a very male dominated industry.
mm.
And, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just the way it's been. But I think a lot of the terminology is very masculine. For example, I always say to people, I don't like the B word, budget.
I was
Because,
waiting for that.
yeah, I know.
I
Well,
was,
I know what you thought I
oh.
was going to say. I wouldn't do that to you. I think to me, budget sounds like punishment. It's kind of like
It
diet.
does.
It's like I
Right.
don't want to go on a diet and I don't want to go on a budget, right? So I use the terminology of, what are you saving? Tomorrow's treasures. What are you saving for the future? Your past promises. What have you already committed to? And then whatever's left over is for today's joy. And I think that really resonates with women. It's not about, saving that extra $20, which for some people it may be, but it's putting it into different terminology that feels just more inviting.
Mm. And it's power management, right? It really, I teach energy management. And when you were just describing it, I love the way that you're describing it because it really is taking what resources we have, right? So it's about making choices about priorities. You are so elegant, elegant wealth. I love the way you're channeling these messages forward, and I just love what you're up to, empowering. Yeah, put me on the list of your huge fans. I think that this is really great. It is.
Thank
It's
you.
really. It's really. It's really great. I love your foresight, and I love the categories that you're helping women distribute power. For me, from the energetic standpoint, I see it as these are little buckets, right? I got a whole visual. I'm excited because when I get visuals, I don't even know if it's worthwhile to explain it to my listeners what I am seeing here. But I'll just go ahead and spend some energy. So, just as it's important to learn to budget your own personal power and energy, your finances are such a big part of that, right? Your finances, that's how much you've got to distribute somewhere. Isn't it smart to have a coach and an angel to help you direct the energy in a way that is always going to serve you and be beneficial for you? I love this. I
Thank you.
love
Yeah,
this.
no, I
It really
think
makes me think.
it's really empowering. And I think when women are empowered around this particular topic, because it's something that we may have been, like you said, not interested in or afraid of, or I mean, I've had so many women say to me, my brain just doesn't do math or numbers. And so they steer away from making decisions about their finances. And yet women are so incredibly smart, and I think they undersell themselves. And when you gain that empowerment in this area, I think that confidence really oozes into all other aspects of your life, because money intertwines with so many aspects of our lives. It impacts your relationships, your career, your community, your charitable endeavors. I mean, there's just so many areas that this touches. And so when you gain that confidence here, it just flows into other aspects of your life.
I love it. I love, love, love it. Do you have any super tips for any listeners who are going, oh my gosh, this is so me? What should I do today? Right? What can I do? Oh my gosh, I'm in a spiral. What do I do?
Well, I think, one of the first things that I love having women do is first start a conversation with your girlfriends. Start bringing this up and talking about it, because I think one of the reasons that men have evolved oftentimes more so than we have is because they talk about this. Money isn't taboo for them. They almost see it as a competition or a game, versus we tend to not want to discuss it. And so a big thing is just starting to have conversations and ask your friends, how do you manage your money? How do you and your husband divvy up, the assets? Or do you have a one checking account, or do you have, separate checking accounts? And just starting to actually have those conversations is a huge way to just start to learn more and hear, what other people are talking about, and just starting to kind of invite this topic and invite money into your life. Another thing is thinking about those money messages that you heard growing up and how they might be impacting you, because we often heard something that now we don't even realize, but that's why we're acting the way that we do around money. Like a friend of mine shared that she said, my mom and dad were both teachers, and it was like a badge of honor to be doing good in the world but not make any money.
Oh, yeah.
And so she said she went into nonprofit as a result, her first job, and was doing good and not making any money and very proud of that. And then realized, what? I can actually make an even bigger difference if I make money.
Yeah, flipping that conversation is so hard. I am a performer and an artist, and for so many years, and working with musicians and working in that demographic, there are some like vocations that it is a badge of honor to struggle. And I think that flipping the conversation exactly how you're saying is so empowering. And people don't think of it. Really, it's just how we hold. It's just how we hold our mindset about it. To let go of some of those the starving artist thing is that's more common in my world. Oh
Yep.
man, yeah, yeah, I deal a lot with the starving artist and the spiritual healer. Oh my gosh, the burden of the spiritual healer. So I really get these unconscious things or the stuff that's playing in your subconscious mind over and over again and keeping you from being the most powerful. And let's face it, people, let's listen in. We all are trying to evolve ourselves, at least the audience of this show, I will say, as more conscious beings. So we can't choose to be unconscious about a particular subject. You have to get comfortable with speaking and owning your power, speaking about and owning your power. And I love I just love what Jayne was saying about it being a male dominated thing. It's time to balance things out. I don't think that women need to take over. I just think that there needs to be more perspective and a balanced way of being. And thank goodness we have educators, people who are up to who are excited and their fire is lit by talking this articulate language around your personal power in the financial realm. So if you want to get hold of Jayne, and I know you do because you want to get conscious about all the pieces of yourself. You can't say I'm going to get conscious about just about anything, but not that. That is like you can't do that. It's not allowed. Talk about spiritual bypass. You also can't have financial bypass. So, Jayne, how can our listeners get a touch base with you? Where can they reach out to you so that they can make themselves more conscious in this area?
Well, my website is www.elegantwealth.com, and
Okay.
elegant is spelled with two L's, like my last name, Ellegard. So a little play on my name there. So if you go onto my website, you can certainly find classes that I'm offering. I have an online course. So a variety of different ways, as well as my book, Financial Empowerment for Women. So all of that can be found on my website. So
Fantastic. Okay, Jayne, I just love the time that I've spent with you. My brain just went in a million directions of how great it is to have somebody like you out there, and you really are raising the consciousness of the planet in so many ways. So many mothers can use some of your wisdom, and so many leaders of communities can use some of this wisdom. Thank you so much for the work that you do, and thank you for being an awakened leader on the planet, helping women with their finances and to empower themselves in the world. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up for today. Thank you so much for leaning in. I have loved our last few minutes together, and I have loved my time here with Jayne. And I hope that you will reach out to Ellegant Wealth. Remember, there are two L's in elegant, just like Jayne Ellegard. Okay, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for me today. Until next time, happy healing and do what makes your heart sing.